In that case, I will hit the record button. Let's go then. Welcome to Roundtable 51. This is our weekly event where we let you know about upcoming changes, our plans for the coming week. We also have a recap on the previous week's events and answer any sane questions you may have. So, general section.
There's loads of those.
Say again?
Because there's loads of those.
Oh, there's loads and loads. General news this week then. So, general chat being recorded for YouTube. I am actually going to switch that now because I forgot. Hello, everybody. Dine time on Wednesday as normal at 9 a.m. UK. This week, happy birthday to Tom, our very own Orange Ninja.
Hey.
Who the colour orange was actually chosen after. Fun fact.
Because I is a ginger.
So, this week, okay, we've got a conflicting order here, but we'll go with the script.
We do.
We have a competition announcement for you guys this week. Do you want to tell us a bit more about big competition this week?
Well, I would, but we're going to save that bit for the end.
Well,
so
yeah,
we've
true.
got well, we're coming up to our 1 year anniversary of doing our roundtables. As Tom pointed out, 52 is the magic number.
It is, yeah.
And 52 falls next week. So next week, something will be happening. It'll be exciting. And it will provide everybody with an opportunity to, or a chance to win something cool. So we'll go into a bit more detail later at the end of the round table. But be forewarned, that is coming.
Cool. Awesome.
And it will affect 7 days and it will affect ARC.
Yes. Everybody gets included. And there's going to be some cool details to follow right at the very end of the roundtable. So stay tuned. We'll let you know what's going on. It's going to be cool.
No gamer left behind. I like it.
Exactly. So we also just literally, we've added the new rank we were talking about. Was it last week or the week before? Which everybody christened the Hollow Ninja role.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be members who've made an exemplary commitment to the community, helping our players, making new members feel welcome, and being knowledgeable about the games they play.
So the role is actually titled Hollow Ninjas, like all the other roles. So there may be more than one of them at any one time. Obviously, if people are selected for that role and raised to stardom, leave the community or don't participate anymore or decide they want a hiatus from fandom, they can be removed from that role. It is totally up to us to select people, but we will happily take nominations for people to receive that role and get some recognition for the effort they put in supporting other players and other members of the community. With that said,
go on.
With that said, we have some selections that have already been done. Took us a couple of weeks to come to a decision, but I think we're there.
We have indeed, yeah.
Mm.
Excellent.
Go ahead, go for it. Who are the lucky people? He's disappeared.
I have a feeling he's probably giving them their roles.
He might actually be. And he's disappeared.
Well, he's gone. Oh, he's back. Hey,
I accidentally clicked on a button in my browser Discord.
Whoopsie.
You plonker.
Yeah, totally. Yes, I was just saying, Nani just have the opportunity to raise somebody to stardom.
Yep.
Is that somebody present? Yeah.
I can't actually see at the moment because I'm recording the other channel.
Oh, right, yes. One of them is present.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm just going to put it out there then. So,
yeah.
First one for exemplary, outstanding sort of contributions towards the 7 day side of things. Lady Tula is going to be our very first holographic ninja.
Whoop whoop!
Congrats, Tula.
Whoop.
She's just been booped up.
Most absolutely is fully deserved. She's
Hey,
mean,
Tula.
absolutely rocking it.
I'm talking.
Hello.
You
Ah,
are. Hello.
thank you.
Speech.
Oh, a big
Surprise.
speech about it though? That's a bit more.
Oh, come on. You can do speech. Let's go.
Okay, I can do speech.
Full-
I
full-on
never
drama.
saw this coming. But no, really, just thank you.
Yeah, it's really well deserved.
Yeah, I think most people at this point think Lady T is actually an Orange Ninja for the 7 Days community anyway. You've been absolutely massively outstanding and helping out and pointing people in the right direction. Growing the server, I would say, is also pretty much on your shoulders at the moment. And yeah, we've
Most
been
of the
doing really
testing
well.
now that I'm having to look after the baby as well. Thank you for picking up that slack for me.
Yep, exactly. Helping
no
around on the test
problem.
server and input into how the game's run. So congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't expect a talking thing though.
I just thought while we're on, I may as well invite you up to talk, and then if you didn't want to, you could just decline it.
Good point, good point.
You have to warn people before you do that, Tom. She could have got stage
No,
fright.
don't be silly. If she got stage fright, she would have just declined it. She's got an option.
Well, it was sort of in the middle of my screen while I was trying to write, so
Oh,
it's
sorry.
like,
Oops.
but it's all good.
Awesome.
Okie dokie, thank you very much. So moving on, we have another then DJ. Who's the second?
I will actually hold off on announcing the second person so that they can be present when we announce it.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Let's have a look, actually, see if they're about.
They are, and I see immediately.
Sorry?
They are. You just have to look further down the list.
I'm looking. Can't see it. Ooh, they are.
Yes, see?
I will have a chat with them later then and see if we can announce their nomination for next week.
Okay,
Because
cool.
obviously they are active and obviously they do stuff for us. Otherwise they wouldn't be recognised. But if they're not immediately available for the Roundtable, then I'll give them some pre-warning.
Cool. Awesome.
Cheers, but fair.
But
Nice.
nominations welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, nominations very welcome.
Can I also suggest that nobody can nominate themselves as a rule?
I would say that's pretty much a given.
You could nominate yourself, but then think about how that will go against your nomination.
Exactly, yeah. But if we, we might as well tell people rather than assuming it's understood.
Yeah.
We know how badly that's gone for us in the past.
That's a filter, isn't it?
It is.
Yes. Okay, cool. So moving on then, onto some ARC news this week then. What have we got for ARC? So the announce, as always, for ARC every single week, because we're still drumming it, is Future. The official release is coming. We are going to be running the official map for those who haven't heard yet, which is probably very few and far between, as we've been preaching it every week now. It is going to be set up the same way we did with Lost Island to preserve the new map challenge, so you'll be able to transfer to it, but no tames or items taken in. You can bring them out, but you can't take them in, and it just extends how long the map is relevant, and people had a lot of fun with Lost Island doing it that way. So we're going to be closing down the modded Fjordur map once the official one launches. Start your planning. If you have a permanent base there now, you will get priority access before it comes up, and you'll be able to go across and claim all your spots. So, moving on from that. First topic of the day then we have is the spawn point remaps. Do you want to give us a bit more on that then?
Just a quick reminder. We did put a bit of news out about it in server updates, but we're going through blocking off areas on the maps where people can spawn and making them no build zones. So we've done all the storyline maps up to Genesis 1, I think. Yeah, I've done all of them up to Genesis 1. Genesis 2 hasn't been done yet. So there are areas dedicated for people to spawn in where you can't build. However, there is a little bug with the functionality. It is being worked on. sometimes when you select an area to respawn after transferring into a server, it'll respawn you at the top one on the list. So just to reiterate, because loads of people asked about it, even though we did put it out last week, and both on the Roundtable, I think, and in Discord, there is a bug transferring maps, selecting a spawn point, you can end up at the top one on the list.
But there is fixes in place for that, right? Or it's been worked on?
Yeah, it's being worked on so that it will actually put you in the right place.
Yeah.
You'll notice it when you spawn in, because you'll spawn at the right place and then you'll suddenly get teleported to the top one on the list.
We've got quite a good relationship with the plugin devs, so I think we've almost got a backline now to lethal, haven't we?
It's not lethal.
Is it not lethal, this one?
No. That's why it's taking longer than normal.
Okay, no backphone for this one. Oh my god.
No.
Wow. So, moving on from spawn points to more horrific news. You've had a bit of an episode this week, so
yeah,
there's a really good story here that leads into another sort of state of affairs. So,
yeah,
tell us what's been going on this week in the world of DJ.
So, as many of you may have noticed, I haven't been as active as I normally would be for the last week or so. And that's because my computer had a shit fit. What was it? End of not last week, but the week before. And it died. So I replaced every component in it one at a time until I figured out which one was causing the problem. So memory, graphics card, power supply, motherboard, and I didn't do the CPU because it's kind of, yeah. Turns out it was the motherboard. So I am all back up and running. While I was doing that and, rebuilding my PC and reinstalling Windows on it, I thought, the safest thing I can do is copy all my files off of my computer onto my network attached storage, which is like a 8 terabyte RAID array. So super protected. I could lose 2 drives out of it before I lost any data. And all is awesome. So I finished the rebuild, came back the next morning thinking, right, I'll copy all my software back over. My RAID's not working. Turned it off, turned it back on. All the data's gone. Amazing. So, fortunately, backups, I have an offsite backup at another location, and it's going to take me about a month to download all the data I had stored there. But the WickedNinjaGames Arc mod, we have lost about the last 6 months of work because I didn't have a current backup. So
big oof there.
Yeah, big oof. I have an old version stored on OneDrive. I had an old version stored elsewhere, but my most current version was on my backup, and the backup failed. So I need to back up the backup next time. Let that be a lesson to everybody. So I've got a lot of work to do to put in all the functionality back into the version of the mod that I've got. And then I can start working on things like modding the propagator and various other tweaks and changes that we want done to the Arc mods and server. So that's going to take me a while.
The interesting bit of all of this, though, is out of the entire PC that you rebuilt, the first thing to go is like the most expensive piece, which is the graphics card.
Oh, totally, yeah.
You've already put in double the amount of RAM, up to about 128 for the dev kit, right? You spend half of the week scouring the planet for a power supply that nobody has, wangling Corsair into giving you quite a good deal, and then the actual piece of equipment that failed was the cheapest and last thing you replaced.
Yeah, so I've actually, yes, that's true.
There's a lesson here too for a lot of people.
I have doubled the RAM. I now have a shiny new 3080. And I've got a 1,000-watt power supply from Corsair. And and a brand new motherboard. So not bad. But the lesson here is, I think for everybody, the takeaway for everyone is all of the gear in my PC was over 2 years old, and I got it all replaced for free. Most of the electronics hardware inside your PCs is covered by a manufacturer's warranty that will last from 2 to 3 years. And all of the gear in my PC I bought from Amazon. And most of the manufacturers have a deal with their resellers. And the deal is that they don't sell the products unless the reseller honors the warranty. So with my motherboard for Asus, I went to Asus. I said, this is my problem. This is what it's doing. They gave me a reference number and said, right, go back to Amazon. They'll replace it for you. So I went back to Amazon. Next day I had a new motherboard and I send the old one back and I get a full refund.
It's really
Same
nice
with the
when-
power supply.
Yeah.
With Corsair. They honoured the warranty on it. They posted me out a new power supply. I posted back the old one, and they gave me 1,000 watt instead of an 850 because they didn't have the 850s in stock.
You always seem to choose the best deals like this. You really do.
But yeah, you got to be aware of your rights when it comes to your hardware.
Totally.
A hard drive, for instance, loads of you I've heard like failing hard drives or kind of things that have stopped working. Hard drives come from 3 to 5 year warranties on them. They're expected to last forever. So if your hard drive fails after 3 years, send it back and get a new one.
Totally.
There's no reason you can't. I managed to turn it around in a week, which I think was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all.
I've rebuilt the whole thing. I've now got Windows 11 on it, double RAM, improved graphics card, better power supply. The only thing that hasn't changed is the motherboard. But the interesting thing was Amazon said to me, we can't send you a replacement motherboard. And I looked on the site, they had 3 in stock. The reason they couldn't send me the replacement was because the price had gone up to £193 and I bought mine for £163. So what they ended up doing in the end was giving me a £35 gift card, which I spent immediately on buying the £190 motherboard, and then they refunded me the £165 on top of that.
Pretty cool.
So yeah, and now all of my gear's under another 3-4 year warranty.
Keep your credentials.
It's worked out really well, but yeah, for people who have things that go wrong with their machines, don't just sit there and accept your hardware's knackered. It should last a lot longer than you think.
Unless you're like
should.
me and have 8-year-old hardware sitting left, right, and centre.
Yeah,
Well, until recently.
that's the thing. You're not breaking it quick enough.
I know. I need to push it harder.
So yes, it's pros and cons. I've lost some software, but that can be replaced with a bit of hard work, and we should be back up and running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
Cool.
So yeah, that's where I've been for the last week, dealing with that.
So, whilst DJ's been having a nervous breakdown, then we've been talking a lot about Apex bosses as well. And I know I've had conversations with several players, including Sandy, about the Apex bosses, the lengths of the fights. Multiple changes have been suggested, new places. So literally the other day we sat down, didn't we, and we had a good chat about the future of the Apex bosses, what we actually want to do with them, what we do not. So do you want to go into a bit more detail about that?
Yeah, indeed we can. So the way I want to get some discussion going on this about Arc and stuff like that, but the way I view the kind of escalation of difficulty in Arc is you've got set bosses that are designed for set levels of difficulty, like the Broodmother and Megapithecus are your kind of entry-level bosses. Once everybody's done them, we don't turn around and go, right, we're going to make those bosses harder now because everybody's done them. Then the new players don't get to do them. So the way I see the bosses sitting in tiers is kind of like the Apex or the world bosses should be on a level with, I'd say, the Titans around Extinction, maybe above that as well, because you can zerg those Titans with Gigas, but your losses will be horrific. So I think they're kind of in difficulty. They should sit above Titans and feel more difficult, possibly even than the Rockwell boss, the final one on Gen 2, but that's difficult because there's mechanics involved other than just killing one thing. But at the same time, I kind of feel the world bosses, you should be able to, if you've tamed a Titan or 2 or 3, you should be able to utilize those tames against it, maybe, and not feel that your Titan that you've spent ages taming is now kind of a worthless piece of junk. So I kind of feel the world bosses are where they are in the scale of difficulty compared to everything else. They were originally designed to be ground-based bosses. So using tames and tactics that involved you having your feet firmly planted on the ground or sitting on the back of a dino with no flight involved. Obviously, that's changed over time as people have discovered that mech's hover ability works, and you can use that to keep the bosses away from you, your tames, and your other opponents by getting their aggro hovering above them, all that kind of stuff. So with that in mind, there will be a mech flight nerf incoming. Simply because we never intended flight to be involved with these fights. The fights themselves are tuned fairly well for ground combat, and the ones where, like the Lava Elemental, where you can stand up on cliffs and things like that, so you could take your mech and jump up on cliffs and things, they have ranged tactics that will deal with that. Lobbing rocks, bats will spawn, that kind of stuff. And I've watched the fights go down, and they still pose a problem to people. I've seen people lose some mechs to that boss, and come very close to losing some good tames and stuff. But what I don't want to do is suddenly hike the difficulty on them again, because then you move them into a difficulty bracket that just puts them out of reach of the people they originally intended to fight against. So the only solution I can see to the people who want fights that last longer, provide more of a challenge, and kind of play towards their end game final breeding programs, it's got to be a new boss. I don't want to kind of just take a difficulty tier and just push it up another level. And the other thing I don't want to do is do that by just increasing the hit points, because your tactics won't change. You'll just do the same tactics. It'll just take you 5 minutes instead of 2 minutes. So we want ideas around a fight in the dojo, please, that would be challenging. Yes, and we don't have to nerf mains in that fight if the fight is tuned with those dinos in mind. So there's any number of things we can do. So we can let you take gigas in there, we can let you take mains in there, but bear in mind that the boss will be tuned appropriately to at least try and counter their abilities.
Which is fair.
So,
yeah.
Thoughts on that? And just let us know what you think. But yeah, I'm kind of against just hiking the difficulty on the existing ones. When I say hiking the difficulty, I mean giving it more bite power, increasing the health pool. Nothing will change for you. You'll just spend 15 minutes doing the same thing over and over again. The other way that I could suggest that players challenge themselves is try doing the fights with something else. Tom did a massive series on the Broodmother called Will It Boss? It's on our YouTube channel, and it shows what you can actually kill the Broodmother with, other than your standard Rex and UT army.
It turns out lots.
It does. It
turns out.
Yeah.
So can you run us through a couple of things that you took in there? I mean, my memory's pretty shocking.
I mean, it really is. A couple of the weirder things we took in, all the creatures that we took in were captured wild, so nothing was spawned in anything like that. Bred a couple of times to get the stats right. Raptors worked. Sarcos were surprisingly effective. We took in trikes, stegos, all sorts of things that you wouldn't normally suggest, like wouldn't normally think of for bosses. And it was Gamma Broodmother, but it was the first boss you'd come across in the game.
Did you totally wreck that boss with some Ankies?
We did indeed.
Ankies and Dodeks, yeah, we absolutely smashed it with Dodeks and Ankies, yeah.
I think
so
the only problem on that boss really, I think, was the ads and the webbing. So long as you have like one Megatherium with you that can take out the ads, it is interesting what you can actually do with most creatures.
Yeah, we started off with a Yudi to buff all the creatures, and we worked out it wasn't working particularly well. It just wasn't. It didn't have enough bite to protect itself. So we switched from the Yudi to a Megatherium for the riding creature, and we discovered really quickly that one Megatherium could probably take on the Gamma Spider on its own. Never mind the other 19 creatures.
So my point there is experiment, try it different ways, try different things, and actually make the fight a challenge for yourselves. There's a whole bunch of tactics that I've seen used on the world bosses, which are nothing like what anyone's using at the moment. We're not talking, well, they're not. I'm not going to say what they are because people worked hard to discover how to do it. But think. Oh, fine, I'll give you a clue. You can't build in the arena, but you can build on things and walk it into the arena after it's spawned.
Yeah.
So
there's one idea. Ground combat is, in terms of one of the best tanking machines you've got, is a Forest Titan. Put its block up and damage is reduced massively.
Any idea that you think might work, probably won't, is worth a try.
But yeah, try it out, see what you can do. You're playing a PvE game. Pretty much everything you've got is disposable. You'll be swimming in resources by the time you're at this point. So, hell, come up with some crazy ideas. Try them out, see if they work. Video it. We'll tweet it.
I was going to say, if people have some crazy ideas, I will actually come in and film the damn thing. It's no problem at all. Just give us some time and some notice and bring some crazy crap and we'll record it. No problem.
So,
if I can kill a Broodmother with Ankies, you can do anything.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say here is, yes, we are in the business of trying to create content for you guys to play. And yes, we do want to add things to the game. And yes, we want to do new, fun, exciting things. But at the same time, you guys have got to help us and help create some of your own content. You're in an open, what's essentially an open world. You can do anything within the limits of the game. So try some shit.
Cool. Sandbox it up.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a sandbox or anything. Oh, no, wait.
Okay, that's cool.
I do want to see the fight dodos. That is going to be insanely cool.
I mean, like when the Dodec balls itself up and goes into armor mode,
they're pretty tough.
What happens? Damage mitigation there. Interesting. Oh, Dodo.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, he has a proper Dodo army. He's been working on that for a while. Yeah. Actually,
I didn't even realize they were aggressive.
Killer attack dodos.
When they're tamed, they can be.
Okay.
So,
jeez, half Harry.
Yeah, that's Apex bosses down.
Yep.
Quickly on to docs this week then. We want to say thank you very, very much to Nushk, I believe you pronounce it, for helping out with the doc server. He's been providing lots of useful feedback and tuning, right?
Yes, I think so. And Nushk will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but hang on. Hang on, about you on the round table.
The Hound Nable.
Hound Nable. So yes, Nash has been helping with feedback, tuning, even providing some config, working on the pull lists for docs, and generally just making it or helping to make it a much better experience for everybody. So I'd like to say thank you very much to him for that, and hopefully that will continue. But if anybody else, wants to feed into or help out with stuff like that, you're more than welcome.
Oh yeah, totally. Thank you for that, Nugget. That's so weird.
So I think that takes us out of the realms of Ark.
It does indeed. So quickly onto 7 days this week. This week has been mostly back end for 7 days. Ooh, I misses. We've been trying very hard to remove a lot of the automation that the server does in the background.
Nani, what have you
Because
done?
nothing yet. It's pre-planning. So
Why are the coppers coming for you?
Oh right, you can hear the police through the window. Okay. I think it's Fred. He's been cat burgling again. Nobody's told him he's not a cat. So the way the 7 day server works at the moment, just as a bit of an insight, is you log on, you do your link, which is the bit that everybody hates, and we'll give a take on that. But yes, I agree, it's frustrating. So you do the link. The link notices and makes note of who you are on Discord, checks your role on Discord, and then gives you the appropriate roles in game once I think it's every 6 minutes it fires that script. So every 6 minutes the server goes through every single person, matches them up to who they are on Discord, moves over the appropriate role, sets your chat name colours, all that sort of stuff. So that's obviously putting pressure on all 5 of the servers we've got at the moment. Now, we're so close now to getting a final working version of what we've christened Woo Game Bridge, which is our new piece of automation software we've had custom developed, which it's insanely cool. More on that later. And what that's going to enable us to do, and feeding into all games now. This is going to happen across Ark as well. At the end of every month, this is something we actually missed and talked about earlier and forgot to write down. At the end of every month, what's going to be happening from now on is, instead of us having to come on, manually check everything, go through a spreadsheet, this is why it takes us so long, because there's so much to do, comparing who's paid, who's not, whether people have changed ranks, getting everything right. It's a complete pain in the backside. So what this software is going to allow us to do is, you have a sub at the end of every month. The server will automatically know who you are. It knows your Steam ID. It's going to be able to check whether or not that sub's been paid, not paid. There will be, is it 3 retries, I believe? And after 3 retries,
much, yeah.
After 3 retries, what's going to happen now, and this is going to be a change that's going to happen over all games. At the moment, if there is a failed payment, what we usually do is we talk to people, we say, hey, is there an issue? A lot of the times, people just forgot, or money needed moving around, blah blah blah. It all gets sorted out. But the change going in this side is going to be, at the end of the month, the server will try 3 times, and everything after that's going to be automated. So your points delivery for Ark, your rank in 7 days, your chat colours, all that's going to be delivered there and then for the month, all up front. Which for 7 days hopefully means we can start to work out some kinks in the linking system and hopefully get rid of it completely. You get your sub and everything gets automatically smashed straight at the server. It never runs again for another month, and then it just looks at the status of your subscription at the end of the month. And that's going to be happening on Ark 2. And one of the things we wanted to bring forward to you is that now, keep an eye on your subs. As of next month, they'll go through automatically. So those of you who've been away for a while, there is no grace period now. We're trying to move away from manually having to do all this stuff, so we've got way more hours in the day to focus on cool things, game content, and the new stuff we want to be developing as well for you guys. And all this stuff takes time. So as a byproduct of automating all this and giving us back all of a load of time we can invest elsewhere, please keep an eye on your subs. Make sure everything's all up to date, because things will happen now automatically at the end of every month. And this leads us into the Rust category as well.
Indeed.
What we're waiting on is purely the software I've just been talking for Rust. Being a PvP game, people are not going to want to wait for us to get up in the morning to sort out their perks. In a PvP environment, you want that stuff now or you're going to die. A lot of times when people buy the packs and they want the perks, they don't want to have to wait 3 hours. They could be dead by then, they could be raided. So that's what's been holding off with Rust, and I think we'll be in by the end of this month, I think, with Woodbridge easily. And then we can start to prep the Rust launch and getting some adverts out there and getting some new players in, some new lives to the server. It's going to be really, really cool. So all this stuff is kind of tied in at the moment. And when we have this delivered, ready and sorted, people who want to see what's going on or people who are interested in what we've been doing in the background, welcome to demo that sort of stuff and just show people what we've got and what's capable now. It's going to be very, very big. There aren't many people out there doing what it can do. In fact, I think there's possibly one that's got some comparison, and there are things that they do and how they do their system at the moment means you're very reliant on their hardware, their website. They take a big chunk of what you make as a server owner. Most people who've run servers before are familiar with Patreon and stuff like that and ways to keep the servers funded. But a lot of these places actually take a huge portion of your revenue that tries to keep